Hello. Today's book is The Relatives Came. Relatives are people that you are family with, that you're related through, usually blood, like people that maybe your mom's sister, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your grandmas, people like that. But sometimes relatives are people that we choose to have in our lives too. Okay. This book won an award for its pictures. So its pictures are super, super, super good. So it won a big award for its pictures. So I'm going to show you its pictures really well because it's pretty cool. Okay. It was in the summer of the year when the relatives came. They came up from Virginia. They left when their grapes were nearly purple enough to pick, but not quite. Okay, so you see them loading this little car with all of that stuff. Do you think that stuff's going to fit in the car? Oh, it's a lot of stuff. They had an old station wagon that smelled like a real car. And in it, they put an ice chest full of soda pop and some boxes of crackers and some bologna sandwiches. And up they came from Virginia. They left at 4 in the morning when it was still dark, before even the birds were awake. So that's super duper early. And you can see them here, and they're already losing a suitcase. I told you it was a lot of stuff to put in there. Okay. Oh my goodness. Look at this car. Look at what a voyage they're having. All over the place this car is. Oh my goodness. They drove all day long and into the night, and while they traveled along, they looked at the strange houses and different mountains, and they thought about their almost purple grapes back home, and they thought about Virginia, but they thought about us too, waiting for them. They drank up all their soda pop and ate up their crackers, and they traveled up all those miles until finally they pulled into our yard. Have you ever had somebody pull in and you're super excited and you go yelling and screaming to meet them? Oh, I bet that fills their bucket, makes them so happy. Looks like they crashed into the fence. Yikes. Then it was hugging time. Talk about hugging. Those relatives just passed us all around their car, pulling us against their wrinkled Virginia clothes, crying sometimes. They hugged us for hours. Look at all that love. Isn't that nice? Oh my goodness. So much love. Then it was into the house, and so much laughing and shining faces and hugging in doorways. You'd have to go through at least 4 different hugs to get into the kitchen to the front room. Those relatives. All that love in that house. Oh, that's super fun. Oh, I see something in the corner. It's a little toy truck. You see that little toy truck? It lost its wheel. And finally, after a big supper, 2 or 3 times around until we all got a turn at the table, there was a quiet talk, and we were in 2s and 3s through the house. Ooh, that's a lot of people to feed. That's a lot of cooking in that, a lot of cleaning. The relatives weren't particular about beds, which was good since there weren't any extras. So a few squeezed in with us, and the rest slept on the floor, some with their arms thrown over the closest person, some with the arm across one person and a leg across another. It was different going to sleep with all that new breathing in the house. It's good they weren't picky, right? The relatives stayed for weeks and weeks. They helped us tend the garden. They fixed any broken things we could find. I'm so glad they were helpful, right? That's nice. They ate up all the strawberries and melons. and then promised we could eat up all their grapes and peaches when we came to Virginia. But none of us thought about Virginia lunch. We were so busy hugging and eating and breathing together. I love the details in the pictures. You can see the little boy's belly peeking through the buttons. And this little guy's always picking on somebody when you look at the pictures. They're great pictures. You got a doggy and a guitar back here. Finally, after a long time, the relatives loaded up their ice chest and headed back to Virginia at 4 in the morning. We stood there in our pajamas and waved them off in the dark. We watched the relatives disappear down the road, and then we crawled back into our beds that felt too big and too quiet, and we fell asleep. We had a doggy. The little kids are going to miss him in the full moon. Look how beautiful that sky is. Great pictures, right? And the relatives drove on all night long and all day long and into the night. And while they traveled along, they looked at the strange houses and different mountains, and they thought about the dark purple grapes waiting at home in Virginia. But they thought about us too, missing them, and they missed us too. And when they were finally home in Virginia, they crawled into their silent, soft beds and dreamed about next summer. See the mountains and the road? Isn't it beautiful? And then the very last page is the dark purple grapes. So the grapes were ready for them to eat. Isn't that nice? Have you ever had a family get together and have some fun and do lots of hugging and lots of eating and lots of loving? So I hope you have. If you have, you could draw a picture and write about it and then take a picture and put it in the comments.